square foot facility of our own. We are in the designer market. We are now having a couple of contracts with the city. This is our direction. We hope that we can more on the RFP to get more contract from the city to grow my business.
That is great, and I hope you do. And Gerdie Renee, and once again, am I saying your name right? Hi, Gerdie.
Good morning. I'm the proud owner of Sankofa Salon Incorporated. We're located in Cambria Heights, Queens, and we're a full-service salon. And basically, we built the business on 4 foundational tenets. First being exceptional customer service, 2 being the use of quality tools and products, 3 continuous education of ourselves and our clients, and 4 community outreach. And a key word that you were saying was social enterprise. And we seek to service our clients, but we also have community outreach. Our first year being in business, we ended up winning the Small Business Development Corporation's Minority Entrepreneurs of the Year. We worked in collaboration with Dress of Success, Inc. to provide some of the clients there with services to go out back into the workforce. So we really are trying to be more than just your average salon. This year we started a restoration fund for the people in Haiti, where we've been able to have people, when they come in and get service, make some donations. We've already made a trip down there, have another one coming up this Friday. And so we try to just bring together the community and reaching out while making you look good on the inside and out.
That is great. Well, hooray. Well, we have used most of this segment to just introduce you out there in Radio Land to a whole lot of New Yorkers who are starting businesses now or who have recently started businesses, all kinds of New Yorkers in all corners of the city starting small businesses who almost never get any exposure in the media. Let's use our last 5 minutes to ask all of you a few quick questions, like, what's the hardest part? Who wants to raise your hand and say, what's the hardest part? Panir.
Actually, I would like to answer that question differently. And it is the best time when there's a recessionary environment to start a business. When we thought about doing that, the 3 of us, and Archana found out about the NYC Big Apps competition, we said, hey, is it the right time to quit our jobs? We are comfortable out there. And we are making this money, we are paying our bills. But then the toughest part is letting go of what you're doing. And the toughest part is just taking that step.
So that's your advice to people out there who may be considering that step.
Exactly.
Rather than just looking for a customary job.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to have to interrupt because I realized that I skipped somebody. Todd, are you here?
Yes.
Todd, forgive me. Todd Fairbairn.
Yes. We manufacture...
your company is called?
It's called Oddie Gear. And we're based
OTTE.
OTTE.
Gear.
And we manufacture high-tech outerwear. And it was interesting how we got started in the business, is we're all outdoor guys, we're all skiers, we're all climbers, we're all hikers. And after 9/11, what we heard was a lot of our troops were going over to Afghanistan, and the clothing systems that the government hadn't given them were not really working the way that they had initially wanted them to. And so they came back and they contacted us and said, hey, can you guys make things a little differently? We know your background is in high-tech apparel. Can you move pockets here? Can you do this? Can you do that? And we just jumped on board. And
you know you're manufacturing for the military when your pants are called a clothing system.
Yeah, and
what do you need from city government?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, we just reached out to EDC, and we're just starting to learn about the opportunities. But I mean, I don't want to sound like a cliche, but you know, as your business is growing and you need a lot of cash, and the environment now versus what it was a few years ago is quite different. I mean, you know, walking in and seeing our bankers right now is quite different now than it was a few years ago. So those have been the major challenges in growing a business, is finding out funding.
Who else on the panel has had problems getting credit in the last couple of years? Credit, KY? Credit's a problem bigger than it was?
I think now, because of the down of the business, the turnaround of the business and profit margin, so we knew your credit line from the bank is a really challenge because they tighten up the cash flow. This is the major challenge for most of the business, of small business in New York City.
Who else? You have Seth Pinsky right here. Rob, did you want to say something? Rob Kalin from Etsy. Here's an opportunity to tell city government, when we always hear about bureaucracy, about taxes, about regulation.
Yeah, sure. So I actually went to my grandfather advice before I went to the government. So it shows how far people can go. No, I just wanted to put a counterpoint on that, which to me, value for entrepreneurs is in connections between people, and this is one thing that you can do in New York City that you can't do anywhere else. I've always thought if you were an alien species visiting the world, if you ever wanted a cross-section of humanity, you just pluck a subway car. And so there's something so beautiful about that here. And we're inheriting this broken education system because the only way to learn how to run a business is to run a business. And so the fact that those connections between people here are so numerous makes New York City one of the most beautiful places to start a business.
And Seth Pinsky, president of the New York City Economic Development Corporation, will get the last word in our last 30 seconds. Talk to the folks out there who may have been looking for conventional jobs and now are a little more inspired to at least think about starting their own business.
Well, one thing I just wanted to respond directly and to make people aware of the fact that there's a program that the city sponsors called Capital Access that works with financial institutions to ensure that people who have historically been bankable can become bankable. And I hope that you'll look at EDC for help with that. But the bottom line is that entrepreneurship is the future of this city, and we've got to do everything that we can to encourage people to think in new ways in order to ensure that the city has a great economic future.
New York has always been about progressive politics, immigration, and entrepreneurship, and it still is. Thank you all for coming this morning to the Green Space. Brian Lehrer, more in a minute.